Am I audible to all of you? Am I audible? Okay. Okay. Thank you. We are discussing maize. Okay. Maize, it is also called as corn, or we can also call it as butta. Okay. There are two other names. Either we may call maize as corn or butta. Regarding the ranking as far as consumption of maize throughout the world is concerned, it is having third rank. Okay. Now here, can you remember the correction which I told in relation to yellow variety? Yellow variety of maize, it is rich in carotene. Okay. And there are certain varieties of maize which are rich in leucine. Okay. Even maize, it is very good source of for fats. Okay. Deficient proteins. Maize proteins are biologically incomplete proteins. Okay. So the deficient proteins, it mainly includes lysine and tryptophan. Okay. The most important disease which is concerned with the consumption of maize, or we can say maize eaters disease, it is pellagra. What is the reason here? There are two important aspects related with occurrence of pellagra in those individuals who are mainly consuming maize in their diet. This is because of the excess amount of leucine. Okay, there are certain varieties of maize which contains excess amount of leucine, and this leucine interferes with conversion of tryptophan to niacin. Okay, second factor, maize, it is deficient in tryptophan, and tryptophan, it is the precursor for synthesis of niacin. And what is the reason for occurrence of pellagra? Pellagra, it is the deficiency disorders which occurs due to deficiency of niacin. Okay, so there are two important factors which are contributing to occurrence of pellagra. Or if examiner asks you maize eaters disease, okay, your answer should be pellagra. Okay, what are various uses of maize? Maize, they are the important sources of energy, so we can use maize for energy. Another important thing regarding use or uses of maize is that maize, it is useful for manufacturing of certain breakfast foods. Okay, and the most important here is cornflakes. Okay, so cornflakes we are preparing with the help of maize. Okay. एक सोपा प्रश्न, तुम्ही टीव्ही बघत असाल तर कॉर्नफ्लेक्स बद्दल काही जाहिरात पाहिली आहे तुम्ही? येस. हा, काय आहे? कशाबद्दल जाहिरात येते ती कॉर्नफ्लेक्सची? स्पेसिफिक वेट रिडक्शन साठी? एम आय राईट? फिगर मेंटेन करण्यासाठी, राईट? ओके. सो बट नाव our focus is not on weight reduction, but here whenever we are advising, rather we should not advise such processed food for weight reduction. This should be very clear to all of you. But there are many people who see the advertisement and they try to follow. Okay, they are doing experiments with this. So here cornflakes, now if at all you can recall the glycemic index. Okay, glycemic index we studied in relation to carbohydrate, right? So glycemic index, it is the amount of sugar, okay, which is released and which is absorbed after consumption of that particular food article. Am I right? So this glycemic index, what we said, low glycemic index, okay, medium glycemic index and high glycemic index. Okay, the values are less than 55, 56 to 69 and above 70. So now can any one of you recall in which category we included cornflakes in relation to glycemic index? In relation to glycemic index. आठवतंय कोणाला? आपण लो मध्ये घेतलं होतं, मीडियम मध्ये एक्झाम्पल होतं कॉर्नफ्लेक्सचं की हाय मध्ये होतं? येस, हाय. येस, 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 ॲब्सोल्युटली राईट. ओके. सो फक्त जाहिरात बघून डायबिटीस, ॲटलिस्ट ज्या लोकांना डायबिटीस आहे त्यांनी कॉर्नफ्लेक्स सोबत प्रयोग करू नये, राईट? सो दोज इंडिव्हिज्युअल्स हू आर having diabetes, at least these people should not consume cornflakes, or you should not advise cornflakes to such peoples. Okay, so important aspect related with the cornflakes and glycemic index. Okay, but right now we are discussing uses of maize. Okay, right now we are discussing uses of maize in relation to the breakfast food preparation. Okay, there is one more use. You all might be aware about the maize flour or corn flour. Okay, so this corn flour, it is mainly useful in preparation of different dishes like desserts, custards. Okay, so there are different uses related with the corn flour. Okay, so for preparation of custards or for preparation of desserts. Okay, now another important aspect in relation to animal husbandry, basically fats are present in high amount in maize, and due to this they are also useful as a food for cattle and for poultry. Okay, so there are different uses of maize. Regarding consumption of maize, right now we said cornflakes is the breakfast food that can be prepared and that can be consumed by the people, or people may use corn flour for preparation of various dishes. Okay. Now the maize eaters disease already we discussed. This is pellagra. Okay. So the name that you should not forget is pellagra. What is nutritive value of maize? Okay. Nutritive value, don't forget to mention per 100 gram. Okay, so whenever we are consuming 100 grams of maize, okay, the protein content is 11.1 gram. Okay, the energy that is given after consumption is 342 kilocalories. So we can say maize, it is good source for energy. Okay, it is good source for protein also. So in relation to energy, what you are supposed to know is the carbohydrate content. Okay, so carbohydrate content is about 66.2 gram. Okay, then fat content, just excuse me, Rijwan, Rijwan, please mute yourself. Rijwan, okay. So fat, 3.6 grams per 100 grams of fat we can get. Okay. Then as far as micronutrients are concerned, maize, it is good source for minerals and B group vitamin. Okay. Niacin, thiamine and riboflavin. Okay. Now here what we discussed yesterday, we will do the comparison. Okay, so nutritive values of cereals. Okay, these are the values per 100 gram. Okay, we are comparing raw rice, milled, whole wheat and maize. So just observe this table very carefully and let's have some interactive session. Okay, so after observing, any one of you wants to explain this, you can explain. Anyone interested to talk about proteins, protein content of raw rice milled, whole wheat and maize in the dry form? Okay, anyone, any volunteer? Please be. Yes, anyone, shall I call your names? Yesterday you committed to give me answers. बोला पटकन, कोण बोलणार आहे? Yes, protein content, fat content. Is the slide visible to all of you? Is this slide visible to all of you? Yes? Yes or no? Yes. So who wants to talk about protein? Which is the rich source for protein among these? Which is the rich source? It's it's whole wheat. Okay. So as compared to this second regarding protein content, whole wheat followed by maize. Okay. And then at third rank it will be raw rice milled. Okay. Regarding carbohydrate content, first we talk about energy and carbohydrate. Okay. What we can say? Maximum energy we can get it from whole wheat, raw rice. Yeah. Some values are not matching. This is the same table given by K Park. Okay. So the carbohydrate content of raw milled rice is higher, followed by whole wheat, followed by maize dry. Okay. Energy, regarding energy, first is whole wheat, second is raw rice milled, and then it is maize dry. Okay. What we can say about thiamine content? About thiamine content? Thiamine content? Yes. Less in? Thiamine is less in raw rice milled, right? So that's why what we said, rice eaters disease. Okay. Rice eaters disease, in this respect you should not forget. Okay. I think all of you know the name of this disease, right? Regarding niacin, highest amount of niacin we can get from whole wheat. Okay. Then rice and maize almost same. There is little bit difference. Okay. Riboflavin, again whole wheat. Okay. Minerals, same minerals, whole wheat and maize dry. Okay. Energy value is almost same. So initially what we said, on an average 350 kilocalories we can get when we consume cereals. Okay. So you can just memorize the average figure. Okay. So regarding fat content, maize. Okay. Maize, it is having high fat content. Then it's whole wheat, and then it is rice. Now we are going to talk about millets. Okay. So what are millets? Millets are basically, they are smaller grains. Okay. And generally they are consumed without removing the outer layer. Okay. So these are smaller grains and we consume this without removing the outer layer. It mainly includes, the examples under millets is jowar, it is bajra, ragi, it is kodo, and there are some minor millets. Okay, these minor millets, they are also called as pseudo cereals. Okay, we are calling minor millets as pseudo cereals. Okay, jowar, it is also known as sorghum. Bajra, it is also known as pearl millet. Okay, and there are different examples under pseudo cereals or minor millets, but one is amaranth, that is राजगिरा. ओके, राजगिऱ्याचा लाडू किंवा राजगिऱ्याची चिक्की ओके खाल्ली असेल तर यू कॅन correlate this. Okay, so amaranth, different examples are there under millets. Okay, so first we will talk about jowar. Okay, there are few other names for this millet. Jowar, we can call it as sorghum. Okay, it is also called as milo, and it is also called as kafir corn. Okay, jowar, it is also called as sorghum, it is also called as milo, it is also called as kafir corn. Okay. Now this is one of the major crop which is grown in India. So if we see cultivation of different crops in India, so highest cultivation you can see of wheat and rice. Okay, and next to wheat and rice, jowar. It is the major crop of India. Regarding consumption of this millet, okay, as far as jowar consumption is concerned, jowar, it is the staple food, or it is the principal food in the diet of different population groups. Okay, so there are different population groups in India who consume jowar as staple food or principal food. The protein content of jowar, it varies from 9 to 14%. Okay, the proteins which are present in jowar, they are second class protein, or they are biologically incomplete proteins. Okay, they are lacking in two essential amino acids, or the limiting amino acids of jowar, it includes lysine and threonine. But there are certain varieties of jowar which contains excess amount of leucine. Okay, there are certain varieties of jowar which contains excess amount of leucine. Okay, so like maize, jowar can also aggravate pelagrogenic action. Okay, or we can find pellagra in those people who are eating jowar. Okay, what is nutritive value of jowar? As far as nutritive value is concerned, energy which is provided after consuming 100 grams of jowar is 349 kilocalories. Okay, it is rich in carbohydrate. 72.6 grams carbohydrate are there in 100 grams. Okay, 10.4 gram proteins. Fat content, if you compare with the maize, it is less. It is 1.9 gram. Okay. The most important thing related with the jowar, it is very good source for calcium. Okay. It is good source of calcium. It is good source of iron also. Okay. In addition, we can get B group vitamins like niacin, riboflavin and thiamine from jowar. Okay, so here all macronutrients we can get, minerals we can get. Okay, so mainly calcium and iron, and from vitamins these are mainly B group vitamins that we can get from jowar. Okay, jowar eaters disease is pellagra. So I will just talk little bit about pellagra and consumption of jowar. So what we said, jowar, it is the principal food, or it is the staple food in the diet of several population groups, and these are mainly the people who are residing in Telangana and Marathwada. Okay, Telangana आणि मराठवाडामध्ये जे staple diet आहे that is jowar. Okay, and if these people, they are mainly dependent on this crop, that is jowar. Okay, and there is excess consumption of jowar. Okay, or there is the principal food in their diet is jowar, and this jowar, it is rich in leucine. Okay, this leucine interferes with conversion of tryptophan to niacin. Okay, so that is the reason why we can get the cases of pellagra in Telangana and Marathwada. So this is related with the food culture. Okay, so food culture at the Telangana and Marathwada is their staple food, their principal food in their diet is jowar. Okay, and the scientific reason for occurrence of pellagra, now you know. Okay, excess of leucine content. Next millet is bajra. Bajra, it is also called as pearl millet. Okay, another name for bajra is pearl millet. Bajra, basically it is the staple food of certain parts in India, and mainly Bajra, it is consumed by the residents of Maharashtra, Rajasthan and Gujarat. Okay, so we can say Bajra is staple food, or it is the principal food of the people residing at Maharashtra, Rajasthan and Gujarat. Okay, protein content of Bajra, it is 10 to 14%. Okay, but the proteins, as we said, all vegetable proteins, they are biologically incomplete proteins. Okay, so Bajra proteins, they are also lacking in lysine and threonine. Okay, regarding vitamins, so when we consume Bajra, we can get B group vitamins. Okay, so it is good source for B group vitamin. And regarding minerals, Bajra consumption can provide us good amount of calcium and iron. Okay, so biologically incomplete proteins, limiting amino acids or deficient proteins are lysine and threonine. Okay, from micronutrients we can get B group vitamins and we can get calcium and iron. Okay, what is nutritive value of Bajra? The energy which is provided after consumption of 100 gram is 361 kilocalories. Protein content is 11.6 gram. Carbohydrate content, it is 67.5 gram. Okay, fat content is 5 gram. As we said, this is one of the rich source for calcium. So please pay attention to the calcium level. So 42 milligram of calcium per 100 gram. Okay, even it is very good source for iron. Okay, so we can get 8 milligrams of iron after consumption of 100 grams of bajra. Okay, good source for minerals and good source for B group vitamins. Okay, again the sequence is niacin, riboflavin followed by thiamine. Okay, so consumption of bajra will provide us both macronutrients as well as micronutrients. From micronutrients, these are mainly iron, calcium and B group vitamin. And from B group vitamins, it is mainly niacin, it is mainly riboflavin and thiamine. Yeah, this is the next millet. Name of this millet is ragi. Okay, म्हणजे नाचणी. This ragi, it is mainly used in Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh. Even Maharashtrian people also use this. Okay, what is the characteristic feature of this ragi? Ragi, this is the important millet which is available at cheap rate. Okay, so this is the cheapest among the millets. Okay, and ragi, it is very good source for calcium. Okay, it is very good source for calcium. This ragi, how it is consumed? Ragi, it can be consumed as ragi flour. Okay, from this ragi flour we can prepare different dishes. Okay, even this is used in food industry. Okay, for preparation of biscuits and other things. And ragi flour, it is also used for preparation of porridge. Okay, आणि सगळ्यात महत्त्वाचं म्हणजे रागी लहान मुलांमध्ये जी दिली जाते ते नाचणी सत्व म्हणून. ओके, सो देर आर डिफरंट वेज बाय विच रागी इज कन्झ्युम्ड इन इंडिया. Don't forget, most important source for calcium. So nutritive value of ragi, energy is 328 kilocalories per 100 gram, protein 7.3 gram, fat is only 1.3 gram, carbohydrates 72 grams per 100 gram, mineral it is 2.7 gram, and the rich, or we can say among millets, the richest source is calcium. For calcium is ragi. Okay, so here you can see the value, that is 344 milligram. Okay, it is the 344 milligram. Iron, ragi is very good source for iron, 3.9 milligram. Okay, and B group vitamin. So B group vitamin, niacin, riboflavin and thiamine. Okay, again in descending order, right? So the most important thing regarding ragi is it is the richest source. Ragi, it is richest source for calcium. Okay, richest source for calcium. Please permit me to end this meeting and please rejoin. Am I audible to all of you? Am I audible? Okay. Thank you. Okay. So now let's compare the nutritive value of millets. Okay. Here we are doing comparison of jowar, bajra and ragi. Okay. So among this, can you tell me what is the richest source for calcium? What is the ragi? Followed by followed by bajra, followed by calcium. So if you want to, yes, if you want to go for ranking regarding sources for calcium from millets, you will go from ragi to bajra to jowar, right? If calcium is asked, right? Now, what is the richest source for iron? Richest source for iron. Yes. Yes. So Yes, for iron, your sequence will be from bajra, jowar to ragi. Okay, and regarding millets, one of the most important thing that you should not forget, they are rich sources for calcium and iron. Okay, one common thing is applicable to almost all these millets, that is B group vitamin. Okay, niacin followed by riboflavin followed by thiamine, right? Okay, so rich source for niacin is, yes, it's jowar. Okay, what we can say about minerals? Minerals, right, right. Okay, so ragi followed by bajra followed by jowar, right? Yeah. So highest energy we will get from highest and lowest among these is ragi. Yeah. So on an average, what we can say, when we consume millets, our body will get 330 to 360 kilocalories. Okay. The range may vary in between these. Okay. Carbohydrate content, it is almost same in jowar and ragi. Okay. Yeah. And it is less in bajra. It is less in bajra. Okay. So now let's proceed further and see another food article. See, we are discussing nutritive value. Okay, we are discussing nutritional profiles according to the nutritive value. Okay, so if at all you can recall the classification, fourth criteria that we used was classification based on nutritive value. Okay, तो उसमें टॉप में था cereals and millets. Okay, so right now we discussed about cereals and millets. Okay, उसके बाद जो ranking था that was pulses. Okay, so right now we are going to discuss about pulses. Okay, pulses they are also called as legumes. Okay, ये आपको पता है pulses को हम legumes भी बोलते हैं, but here one more name that you must know. Okay, this is the must know criteria. Pulses they are called as poor man's meat. Okay, pulses we are calling as poor man's meat. And when we talk about the pulses or the legumes, okay, it includes different dals or grams. Okay, it includes different dals or grams. Example, here you can see it is Bengal gram, black gram, red gram, okay, green gram. Most important among pulses is soya bean. Okay, it includes lentils and it includes dry peas. Okay, here we are talking about dry peas. In addition, there are other pulses also. Okay, like kesri dal or Lathyrus sativus. Okay, horse gram. So we will see all these things. So in this image, what you can say, it is Bengal gram. Okay, it is Bengal gram, or it is also called as chana dal. Okay, you can see both the forms. Okay, so we are getting chana dal from this whole chana. Okay, so whole chana and Bengal gram. So first example under pulses is Bengal gram, black gram. Okay, so here just from color you can come to know these are only color codes. Okay, so this to the right side is the dal which is prepared from the whole urad. Okay, so whole urad it is black in color. ओके, जे मराठी लोक आहेत त्यांच्यासाठी उडीद डाळ. ओके, उडदाचा कलर जो आहे तो ब्लॅक आहे. त्याच्यापासून मधल्या स्टेजमध्ये इफ यू डोंट रिमूव्ह दी आउटर पार्ट, ओके, वी कॅन गेट दिस मिडल इमेज. And lastly, if we remove that outer layer, we can get white urad dal. Okay, so simply example that you are supposed to know is of black gram. Okay, third example, it is red gram. Okay, it is red gram. Red gram, it is also called as tur dal. It is also called as tur dal, or it is also called as arhar dal. It is ARHAR. Okay, तुअर दाल or अरहर दाल. ओके, मराठीमध्ये तुरीची डाळ. ओके, सो तुरीचा जो कलर आहे तो रेड आहे. ओके, अँड आफ्टर processing what we can get is red gram. Okay, so red gram is tuar dal, black gram urad dal. Okay, Bengal gram we said chana dal. Next is green gram. Okay, green gram म्हणजे मुगाची डाळ. Okay, मूग. In left side you can see is green colored. Okay, so green colored is मूग, and from this what we can get is green gram. Okay, मुगाची डाळ म्हणजेच green gram. Yeah, so here what image you can see, this is the Lathyrus sativus, or commonly it is known as kesri dal. Okay, this is known as kesri dal, but remember currently the cultivation of this Lathyrus sativus, it is banned in India. Okay, it is banned in India. The reason for this consumption of this pulse, that is Lathyrus sativus, it is associated with occurrence of a crippling disorder. Okay, this is known as Lathyrism. Okay, and why this occurs? It occurs because of presence of toxin in this pulse. Okay, so toxin is BOAA, beta oxallyl aminoalanine. Okay, Lathyrism we are going to discuss in detail in upcoming lectures. Okay, under the heading the nutritional disorders which occurs due to presence of toxins in the food. Okay, so here this condition, this nutritional disorder, it is related with the presence of toxin in this pulse. Okay, so this is Lathyrus sativus. Okay, currently it is banned. Okay, but it may be seen in different other pulses, like it may be mixed in red gram or other grams as a part of food adulteration. Okay, तो possibility है food adulteration हो सकता है, and this pulse we may found in other pulses. Yeah, the most important when we talk about pulses is soybean. Okay, so one of the richest source from pulses as far as proteins are concerned is soybean. Here you can see lentils. Okay, मसूर, अख्खे मसूर किंवा मसूरची डाळ तुमच्या समोर दिसतीये. Okay, this is lentils. Okay, another example under pulses. Yeah, right now don't focus on green peas. Okay, we are concerned with the dried peas. Okay, green peas is part of vegetables. Okay, so right now when we talk about the pulses, we are talking about dried peas. Okay, or dry peas. Horse gram, it is one more pulse. Okay, commonly in local language it is known as कुळीथ. ओके, इट इज नोन ॲज कुळीथ. आणि जे आपल्याकडचे या एरियातले लोक असतील तर इकडे आपण हुलगे असं पण म्हणतो. ओके, सो दॅट इज हॉर्स ग्रॅम. Yeah, so these are the various examples under pulses. Okay, now let's talk about the pulses. Basically, the most important thing, we are saying that these pulses are poor man's meat. Okay, the reason behind this is that pulses, they are rich in proteins. Okay, they are very good sources of proteins, and pulses, they may contain 20 to 25% of proteins. Okay, if we compare this protein content with wheat, or if we compare this protein content with rice, okay, definitely protein content of pulses, it is higher. Okay, it is higher than wheat and rice. Okay, so comparison with wheat, this is twice. Okay, protein content is twice than that of the proteins which are present in the wheat. And regarding rice, protein contents are 3 times more which are found in rice. Okay, so rice से अगर हम compare करते हैं pulses को, तो rice में जितने proteins है उससे 3 times better or 3 times more quantity what we can find in pulses. Okay, so twice or double the amount of proteins we can get in pulses. Okay, when we are comparing this with the wheat. ओके, सो डबल व्हीटपेक्षा डबल प्रोटीन्स आहेत पल्सेसमध्ये आणि राईसपेक्षा 3 वेळा जास्त प्रोटीन्सचं प्रमाण आहे पल्सेसमध्ये. ओके, इवन द मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग टू अंडरस्टँड अबाउट द प्रोटीन कंटेंट ऑफ these pulses. Okay, so protein content, the quantity or the amount of protein which is present in pulses, okay, it is high. It is high if we compare this with the eggs, fish, or even flesh. Okay, so whatever flesh, whatever animal proteins, okay, we are consuming. Okay, egg proteins है, fish proteins है, flesh में जो proteins है, quantity pulses में ज़्यादा है, but the most important thing what matters is the quality. Okay, so quality of these pulse proteins is inferior or these are the second class protein. Okay, so quantity ज़्यादा भी है तो भी they are not superior to the animal proteins. Okay, and as we are saying they are inferior, they are second class proteins. Okay, or we are saying these are biologically incomplete protein. So here you are supposed to know which essential amino acids are deficient in pulses. Okay, the amino acids which are deficient in pulses, it mainly includes methionine and to some extent second example is of cysteine. Okay, so pulse proteins, they are lacking or they are deficient in methionine and cysteine. Okay, same thing if examiner asks you limiting amino acids of pulses, the limiting amino acids of pulses are methionine and cysteine. Okay, here exception is soybean. Okay, so soybean which is very good source for proteins. Okay, so in general what we said ki protein content of pulses it is about 20 to 25%. Okay, but for soybean the protein content is up to 40%. Okay, so up to 40% of protein content we can see in soybean. Okay, regarding deficient we have seen which proteins are rich in lysine. In this pulses it is lysine. Okay, so pulse proteins are rich in lysine, and that's what we said initially, combination of cereals and pulses. Okay, cereal proteins they are mainly lacking in lysine, whereas pulse proteins are rich in lysine. So when cereals and pulses they are combined together, there will be supplementation of lysine through pulses. Regarding the vitamins, okay, so which vitamins we can get from pulses. Okay, so mainly these pulses they are rich in B group vitamin. Okay, they are mainly rich in B group vitamin. Again same examples are there which we discussed for cereals and millets. Okay, so it's thiamine, riboflavin and niacin. Okay, in addition the most important thing to understand is germinating pulses. Okay, when we talk about germinating pulses, it is also rich source for vitamin C. Okay, it is also rich source for vitamin C. So here there are two important things that are concerned with the consumption of pulses in different forms. Okay, so some people they consume germinated pulses, some people they consume it in dry form, or we may go for fermentation, and after fermentation these pulses are consumed. Okay, so here we are supposed to understand what is the effect of germination and fermentation on pulses. Okay, whether it is useful to us or not. So definitely the germinating pulses or the fermented pulses, they are good. Okay, so that should be part of our diet. The reason for this is both these processes, they increases nutritive value of pulses. Okay, nutritive value of pulse is increased ड्यू टू जर्मिनेशन अँड ड्यू टू फॉर्मेंटेशन. जर्मिनेशन म्हणजे मोड आलेली कडधान्य, जे काही गोष्टी आपण मोड येऊन स्प्राउट्स. ओके, दिस इज स्प्राउटेड. ओके, वॉट एव्हर थिंग्स वी कन्झ्युम in germinated form or sprouted form, definitely there is increased nutritive value. And specifically the vitamin that you are supposed to know in relation to germination of pulses is vitamin C. Okay, we are talking about germination of pulses and vitamin C content. Okay, so already we had discussed this. I will just repeat it once again. So whatever pulses are there right now, you know all the examples of pulses. Okay, in dry form. Okay, in dry form they do not contain vitamin C. In dry form they do not contain vitamin C, but whenever we germinate it, the content of vitamin C, it greatly increases. Okay, content of vitamin C greatly increases. Okay, so ascorbic acid is rich in germinating pulses. Okay, so that's why germination is one of the important thing. And there are few more benefits of germination. Basically, what happens in dry form, these pulses, they contains some toxic factors. Okay, and they contain some anti-nutritional factors. Okay, we are saying in dry form some toxic factors or some anti-nutritional factors are present in pulses. Okay, and during the process of germination, these anti-nutritional factors or the toxic factors are removed. Okay, so there is a double benefit. Nutritive value also increases, plus the anti-nutritional factors, toxic factors are removed. Okay, regarding fermentation, fermentation also increases nutritive value of pulses. Okay, so during the process of fermentation, the vitamin content, these are mainly B group vitamins. Okay, which gets increased. And again examples are same. So these are thiamine, riboflavin and niacin. So content of thiamine, riboflavin and niacin, it is increased on fermentation. Okay, on germination it is mainly vitamin C. What minerals we can get from these pulses? Okay, so from pulses we can get, from pulses, excuse me, okay, the pen is not working right now, so I can't write today. Please listen carefully and you are going to give me answer. The minerals that we get from pulses, pulses are good sources of calcium, magnesium, zinc, iron, potassium and phosphorus. Okay, I repeat, it's calcium, magnesium, zinc, iron, potassium and phosphorus. Now I just want any one of you to divide these minerals into major minerals and trace elements. So can even any one of you tell me which major minerals we can get from consumption of pulses and which trace elements we can get from consumption of pulses? Shall I repeat? It's calcium, magnesium, zinc, iron, potassium and phosphorus. Just you are supposed to divide out of these which are major minerals and which are the trace elements. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Potassium. Yes. And trace elements are remaining, right? Zinc. Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, good. So, different major minerals and trace elements we can get from pulses. Okay, now let's talk in short about anti-nutritional factors. Anti-nutritional factors, basically, these are the factors which are present in raw pulses. Okay, anti-nutritional factors are present in raw pulses. Examples of anti-nutritional factors, it includes phytates and tannins. Okay, it includes phytates and tannins. Okay, regarding phytates and tannins, already we talked in thiamine. Okay, so what is role of these anti-nutritional factors? Okay, so generally what happens during the process of germination, these anti-nutritional factors are eliminated. One thing. Okay. And when we apply heat, so most of the anti-nutritional factors, they are destroyed on application of heat. Okay. So as far as processing of food or cooking of food is concerned, heat application and germination are the two things which can reduce the quantity of these anti-nutritional factors. Okay, what these anti-nutritional factors are doing? Definitely, they are related with some adverse things in our body. Okay, so if at all you can recall, we have said that these anti-nutritional factors, they interferes with absorption of certain vitamins or minerals. Okay, and since they reduces absorption of vitamins or minerals, they reduces bioavailability of these vitamins or minerals. Okay, so definitely they are interfering with the bioavailability of certain minerals, okay, or certain vitamins. One more thing to understand about the pulses, there are certain pulses, okay, which contains high amount of oligosaccharides. Okay, so the pulses containing high amount of oligosaccharides, okay, so they may contain cellulose or the dietary fiber. Okay, and basically, to be specifically, the oligosaccharides, okay, partial fermentation, if it occurs in large intestine, it can contribute to flatulence. Okay, it can contribute to flatulence. So there is possibility that some people, they may complain of flatulence after consumption of pulses. Okay, and these are those pulses which are rich or which are high in oligosaccharides. Okay, so association with flatulence as far as pulses is concerned. Shall I finish with soybean? Only small part is left. Yeah. So soybean, it is, as we said, this is very rich source of protein. Okay, 40% proteins are present in soybean. Fat content is about 20%. Minerals, they are about 4%. Okay, so it is very good source for minerals. Soybean is very good source for minerals. Okay, and if we compare soybean proteins with other pulse proteins, they have high nutritive value. Okay, they have high nutritive value. The limiting amino acid which is present in soybean is methionine. Okay, how soybean is consumed in our diet or the consumption of soybean? So it can be cooked and it can be consumed as dal. Okay, so directly cook करेंगे और लेंगे, या फिर we can make soybean powder. Okay, and this soybean powder, it can be mixed with whole grain wheat flour or atta. Okay, and we can prepare chapatis from this. गव्हाचं पीठ आणि सोयाबीनचं पीठ एकत्र करून चपाती बनवणं, right? Or other products of soybean, it is soybean milk, soybean curd, or even it is useful in preparation of certain baby foods. Okay, so regarding soybean, the most important thing is It is very rich source for proteins. Okay, but the proteins are again biologically incomplete. Okay, and they are lacking in methionine. It's my kind request to CR, please start with attendance. Yes. Sagar is there. Ruman, I can see his name. Why he's not giving attendance? Hmm. Okay. 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 Okay, thank you.